The Sopranos is an American-based television drama created by David Chase. The series revolves around the New Jersey-based Italian-American mobster Tony Soprano and the difficulties he faces as he tries to balance the conflicting requirements of his home life and the criminal organization he heads. The show has all the conventions of a crime drama: criminal activity, violence, and drug use. So spotting the genre is very easy, as it's established frequently. The continuity of The Sopranos is across the episodes. This means that the narrative is never closed. Even though the character arcs are completed and the narrative changes, it's never really over. Narrative structure is set up over multiple episodes, the climax normally at the end of a season. The montage at the start of Season 2 not only recaps the audience on what's happened previously, but also re-establishes the characters. The music for this montage is Frank Sinatra's performance of 17. This is an insight to the Italian-American crime culture, as many consider the 50s to be the height of organised crime. The song also relates to getting older and changing, which is a theme of the montage. The slow tracking and panning gives the audience a sense of movement. This also reflects the theme of getting older and changing, as the fades help to create the illusion of time passing. The montage establishes the genre, showing scenes of criminal activity and sex. It also shows the continued narrative, as it recaps the audience on what's happening in the narrative. Sunshine is a three-part comedy drama that began in 2008. The BBC miniseries has its own narrative shown over 3 episodes, closing the narrative in the final one. Each episode has its own narrative structure, as each episode ends in a climax which compels the audience to watch the next episode and reach a conclusion. The genre is a comedic drama. This is established in the opening sequence. It opens with an establishing shot of the town. The music, which is used as a leitmotif, is playing and the audience get an understanding of the tone of the miniseries, a light-hearted comedy drama. This opening sequence tricks the audience into thinking it's a period drama by setting it in the 70s, when the majority of the drama is set in modern Britain. This is effective as it paints a romantic image of the town, and establishes the main characters when they were children. This gives them a sense of innocence and likability. Comedy is immediately used to establish the comedic tone of the drama. The 360-degree camera rotation around the table could be a reference to Quentin Tarantino's gangster movie Reservoir Dogs. This satire is effective as a young boy and his granddad are as far removed from merciless gangsters as you can get. The Cabin in the Woods is a 2012 American horror movie. This film successfully subverts the slasher genre by satirizing the common conventions and character types. This allows the film to play with the audience expectations, as the narrative slowly moves away from a stereotypical slasher plot. The structure still remains typical for a slasher film, with exposition, development, and a climax. A narrative device is used to manipulate the characters in the film. This device is a type of gas, which completely changes the characters' motivations. Observe in this extract. Fast-paced cuts show the characters' sense of urgency, as they desperately think of a way to escape the monster and prevent their deaths. The music is very suspenseful and is very typical of a slasher movie. In fact, this whole sequence of barricading the door and trying to survive is very typical for a slasher film. The genre is clearly emphasised and exaggerated. Each of these characters is a common stereotype for the slasher genre: the jock, the geek, the stoner, and the virgin. Later on in the film, these character types are even mentioned, and each character is associated with each of their stereotypes. Observe the use of the narrative device. The jock was deviating from the codes and conventions of a slasher film, so the gas is used to keep the genre in check, as it manipulated him into being more like his character type, rather than an individual. Immediately after the gas is used, there's a jump scare, which is another convention of a slasher film. I plan on making a dark, suspense-filled 1-minute film. I will use low-key lighting and a dark narrative to sustain this tone. The narrative will show a young girl being followed by a mysterious stranger. The nighttime atmosphere and use of shadows will create tension, as the audience begin to worry about the innocent girl. I hope to make a strong impact on the audience by making the ending sudden and brutal. I've used lots of close-ups to prevent the audience from seeing the complete picture. Close-ups will also be used to foreshadow and to emphasise. The lack of non-diegetic sounds will create a sense of realism in the audience. This will hopefully pull the audience in. I am also aiming to play with audience expectations by putting several twists in the film.